Hello, my name is Ashley Mormon, and I'm doing my biography speech on a lady named Stacey Westfall. Even though she's very famous, I'm sure that 99.9% of you will have never heard of her. This is her. I don't know if you can see the picture. That is her and her horse, Jack. Stacey is a reining horse trainer, and she was born in Maine, where she lived there till she went to college. Stacey became famous for her bridleless, saddleless reining performance at a thing called Quarter Horse Congress down in Columbus. She was riding a horse who is now also famous. Her name was Roxy, or Wizard's Baby Doll. Stacey came from a poor family, and she didn't have a lot of money. She was always raised around horses, and she got her first pony at age 6. She oftentimes had to ride saddleless because they couldn't afford them and afford to feed and take care of the horses. So she decided early on what she wanted to do. Her only horse trainer was her mother, and her mom was constantly asking the question, why do you think your horse did that? And that is one of the reasons Stacey has developed the training methods that she have, is due to that question that her mom constantly asked growing up. She rode any horse she could as she was growing up, and as she got older, she knew she wanted to have a career with horses, but she did not know how. So she was speaking with a teacher at school, and the teacher asked her what she wanted to do after college. She said, I know that I want to do something with horses, but there weren't any colleges for that. So her teacher urged her to do some research, and in doing her research, she found Findlay College in Ohio. So off she went. She packed up and came here and enrolled for their equine program. She rode there for 4 years and pursued her degree in equine science and biology, and she spent a lot of summers and winters riding in the hot and cold, and that taught her a lot about how she wanted to train the horses that she would be taking on when she was done with school. She got to ride with some of the world's most renowned trainers, and when she was finished with school, she began to apply her knowledge of what she had learned, forming the Stacey Westfall Horsemanship Training Program. She went down to Quarter Horse Congress in 1994, and she did her saddle and bridleless reining, and she also met her husband, Jesse Westfall, who was a big-time reining trainer as well. They had a lot in common. They got married shortly after, and they had 3 boys, and they bought a farm in Mount Gilead, Ohio, where Westfall Horsemanship started, and that is their combined training program. They're both a little different. Their boys are homeschooled because Stacey travels all over the world all the time doing clinics and riding classes, and I just recently got to see her down at Equine Affair, which is where I got to pick up this little brochure, and I got to meet the horse and her, which was really exciting. She rode this horse at Congress. She won. And after that, Stacey and her husband decided to, with the owner, they decided they were going to breed Roxy. So one of the hardest things that Stacey had to overcome is when Roxy was bred, she was almost due with her baby. Stacey went out there one night in the morning to check on her, and during the nighttime, her horse had laid down and she couldn't get back up. And even with hours and hours of work for the vet and Stacey and Jesse and everybody else that helped, they ended up losing Roxy and the baby. So it was probably hard for her to even go back out to the barn, let alone ride any other horse. But her husband decided that it was time for her to move on, and they decided to take on, her husband decided to take on another horse in training and said it was for him. However, it was Roxy's other baby, Jack. And this was an emotional loss for her, but it was something she had to come to terms with and get over. So she started training Jack, and thus the Jack Diaries were born. The Jack Diaries are a one-step program from the beginning to the end of horses. Stacey also did a lot of other accomplishments other than the Jack Diaries and riding saddle and bridleless. She was invited down to a competition known as Road to the Horse in Columbus, it was in Columbus, I believe. It is a competition from the world's biggest horse trainers, and you have to get an invite. You can't just openly go there and participate. It's where they take a group of horses that are not broke, and you have 3 hours to work with this horse. And these horses have never been touched. You have to work with them, saddle them, bridle them, and then be able to ride them through an obstacle course. And not only did Stacy win the Road to the Horse, but she's also the first woman to ever be invited, the first woman to ever win it. And then at the end of it, she bought the horse that she rode and named him Popcorn. And Popcorn is also featured in all of her Jack's Diary series. So Stacy is a big inspiration to me because she had to overcome so many things by losing a horse that she was close to, and her methods in training these horses are awesome and amazing, and she has so much dedication to what she wants to do, and I am also just as passionate about her career as I am my own, which is both in horses. So this is why I decided to do my project on Stacy, and I appreciate your time listening. Thanks, guys.